I'm Edie Lush. I'm here inside the Hub Culture studio. It's Davos 2023. Very pleased to be here with two fine gentlemen. Thanks very much for coming by the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Chance Barnett, the chairman of Jewel Bank, and also Adeoye Ojo. And you are the director of Busha. So first of all, tell me what Jewel Bank does.
Jewel Bank is a bank based in Bermuda that provides services to global institutions that focus on digital asset-based services, including stablecoins, which we'll be talking a bit about.
All right, we're going to talk about stable coins. Adeoye, what does Busha do?
Busha is a digital asset exchange in Africa, one of the biggest in Nigeria, expanding to other African markets. And our role is just to onboard Africans into the crypto economy and giving them access to on-ramp, off-ramp, and facilitate trade.
Okay, so we're here in Davos during the winter. We're also here, I would say, in a crypto winter. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
The tide is starting to shift.
Okay, tide is starting to shift. But I guess if there were a big ice elephant in the room, it would be what's happened in the last couple of months, right? We've seen the collapse of FTX. We've seen the collapse of trust. We've seen collapse in one of the big stable coins. Yeah. So, well, what can Africa do to help us regain confidence in stable coins?
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for African governments as issuers of currency, lenders of last resort, and issuers of credit instruments like treasury bills, Eurobonds. Government credit or liabilities has always been known as a standard of safety, and some consider them as risk-free assets. And this is an opportunity to bring that level of safety and trust into crypto, where we're lacking some of that right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would you add?
Well, I'd add there has been a lack of trust, in some cases a lack of regulation. Mm-hmm. And I am clear we're moving to a place where either by choice or by necessity, we're going to have to move to a more regulated space. And I think Africa can be at the forefront of that. Similarly to how it leapfrogged, in a sense, with mobile and mobile penetration and adoption on digital assets with these other type of currencies, not introducing the risk of all of crypto trading and buying, which isn't a bad thing, but isn't for everyone. Introducing a new way of transacting money that is more peer-to-peer and more accessible to more people. So that's, I think, the really big opportunity and what we're both excited about for Africa.
So I wonder what economic impact a government-backed stablecoin would have, do you think?
So right now, there are issues where we need safety in this. There's a commercial benefit that government doesn't really get from the traditional trading of cryptocurrencies right now. So if we were to align the interest of government with the blockchain community, where you could have government seeing benefits not just as regulators, but as players, that could bring some economic benefits to the country. And this is played out in Kenya, for example, with Safaricom and M-Pesa, where government's interest, commercial interest in M-Pesa has allowed it to become a success that it is now, and one of the leaders in mobile money platforms in the world. So if we're able to align that commercial interest of government with the blockchain community, you take out that adversarial us versus them energy that is currently plaguing the crypto community from government, and that there will be some economic benefits to that.
Interesting. Anything to add?
Yeah, I'll say I believe the role of digital currency can be to make services more accessible. In many cases, banks like ours, we know how banks operate. Sometimes they leave people out because they're not as profitable to service. So I believe there's an opportunity, which governments have been looking at with things like CBDC that others had spoke about. The role of commercial stablecoins, I think, can play a role in that without a lot of the heavyweight overhead of that. So I think that can bring more accessibility and transparency at the same time.
Interesting. So I wonder what the role of the private sector needs to be, given the lack of trust or the amount of trust that's actually fallen away from the private sector in cryptocurrency in the last few weeks even, but months.
Yeah. I think there needs to be and will be a close role between government, regulators, and commercial innovators, which in this space can include everyone from very innovative technology companies, say exchanges like what he's building, but well-regulated ones, all the way up to banks like what we are, who are held to a much higher standard because we're people safeguarding people's money, but we also want to provide and empower others with these financial services. So in future, banks can work directly with other players to create a safer set of more trusted, more transparent services to people. And I think that's a big opportunity of commercial entities to play a role alongside government and alongside regulation in this space.
All right, if we come back in a year, where are we going to be, do you think? Out of the crypto winter?
It's hard to predict, but things are starting to look better.
I think most of the people who've been building in the space, even over the last 5, 6, 7 years, have watched the rise and fall of crypto volatility and prices. However, this is different. There's a lack of trust and a lack of confidence that's now engendered in the space. I think it's time to solve some of those core fundamental issues and shore things up as things look to go mainstream. So my guess is, and this is based on experience of, this is probably the third crash I've been through. Things will slowly build, but all the real people are building now, including large institutions that are starting to come in, not necessarily to trade crypto, but to say, how can we use this underlying technology to benefit us, whether it's a large corporation or individual retail users.
Great. Guys, thank you very much for stopping by the Hub Culture studio here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.